Morning. It is Wednesday, May 6th. My name is Daryl Arnold. 6:32 a.m. You've tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic Radio Show live stream podcast. Hope you're doing in a midweek hump day, Wednesday, May 6th. The year, of course, is 2026. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to dive right into it. Lots been happening just since the Monday show. And if you don't know, we're on Monday, Wednesday, and ending out the week, going into the weekend on Friday, 6:30 a.m. until 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Of course, though, you can listen anytime you want. On a podcast, actually, you can listen on YouTube. You can see my entire show on my YouTube channel. And of course, you can go back and watch and listen on Facebook. And it's everywhere. It is everywhere. Brought to you by our great sponsors. And in fact, brought to you by all of you great folks that wake up every day and listen and or listen back. I want to thank all the brand new followers. We are getting brand new followers from all over the United States and, quite frankly, the entire world. And we're loving it. Okay, we're loving it. If you want to be a part of the conversation today, you can jump in the chat or you can text me at 601 918 8409. Again, 601 918 8409. The text line today is brought to you by Electrical Solutions and Electrical Services right here in Pearl, Mississippi on St. Paul Street. Central Mississippi's best solutions for all your electrical needs, including Generac generators, which here we go with another weather day. So you probably need to go ahead and get a generator. I know a lot of people that need to get those because we have the wild weather that's always going on in Mississippi. It doesn't change. It's always insane. And it always happens right here in Mississippi. And you know it. I know it. You know it. I know it. If you also see this podcast slash live stream slash radio show, you could go ahead and share it to one of your groups. We are sharing away now to some of the podcast groups and some of the groups that like us. There's a lot of groups that don't like us, but there's some groups that do like us. So we are taking advantage of the ones that do like us, okay? That actually like us, which is not all, but is definitely some. Not all, but definitely some. Today also being the first Wednesday of the month of May, which is May 6th today, will be Grip and Grin. That happens. Great fellowship, great people. We'll be hearing from some folks that are running for judge and some judge talk today. I recommend you always come to Grip and Grin. It's at Mama Hamill's, on Highway 51 in Madison, Ridgeland. Again, that's Mama Hamill's, Highway 51, Madison, Ridgeland. The first Wednesday of every month. I recommend you get there at 11:15. We have entirely great speakers. We have great fellowship together. It's in the private room in the back. Grab yourself a buffet. Come have a seat. Come hang out with us. If you're not gripping and grinning, you ain't winning. So there is one today at Mama Hamill's. Hope to see all of y'all there, my friends. All of y'all. Because it's that important. Every month it's that important to discuss the matters that are going on in this country and, of course, locally, right here in the state of Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI, and it is America 250 this year, which is the 250 birthday anniversary of America. Go out, support that anytime you get a chance because we live in the greatest country ever. Even though we talk about the issues, we talk about how things could get better, we talk about politics, we talk about crime, we talk about some stuff that's not that great. But we do, in fact, live in the greatest country ever, and we will never forget that. I will never forget that. Never, ever, because it is the truth. It is the truth. Take a look around. Look at these Marxist, leftist, insane countries that tell you what to do, where to go, how to do it. Everything is government based. On this show, we are all about smaller government, period. Smaller government, period. We don't believe in the big government with your universal income crap and your universal health care BS and your communism, socialism, dumb stuff. It doesn't work. And you know who's going to find out real quick that doesn't work is New York City, as there already are with Memdami, the mayor. We told everybody they didn't want to listen. We told everybody they didn't want to listen. He put on the T-Mu Obama fake smile, the Hussein fake speeches, and they got themselves a communist mayor over in New York City. They, in fact, did it to themselves. Now they're dealing with the consequences, and those consequences are 100% going to get them. And hopefully they learned a lesson. I don't know that if the far left learned any lesson. Probably not, unfortunately. Probably not. But a lot of people are looking around the country and saying, hey, what in the hell did we do? What has happened to this country? What has happened to everybody? Well, a lot's happened. People pushing bogus socialist communism, Marxism, all this stuff that's been going on for years, but it's never worked any freaking where. It has never worked anywhere in the whole entire world. And the few times that it may have worked for a couple of days or a couple of years, later on, they were right back where they started in a Cuba style communist country. Because that's what happens. That's exactly what freaking happens. And that's not unfortunate, but that is the truth. You can say unfortunate, but these people get themselves into this by listening to the noise of the politicians that push this generic stupidity. For some reason, they think that the Salowinski, the Marxism, the Hussein Obama, that's what he tried to do to this country, and he did a pretty good job of doing that, in fact. He did a pretty good job of doing that, in fact, which is not good, but it is true. Two things can be true at the same time, always, especially in the world that we live in at this point, okay? 6:42 AM. The name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk Show on a Wednesday, May 2026. You got something you want to talk about? 601 918 8409. 601 918 8409. Text the Hammer text line, and we will, in fact, get that going for you. Okay? We will definitely get it going for you. Oh, man. Big shout out this morning to Steve and SRS tuning in. We also want to hit up Sean tuning in this morning. Hello to Michael on Restream this morning. I guess that's YouTube. Thank you so much. We have, let's see. We got Shelly this morning in Alabama. Good morning over in Bama, and many more. We will talk more about that in just a few minutes. Stick around. Don't go anywhere on that because we will steadily bring up people that we want to talk to. And believe me, this is an open format Wednesday. You know, it is. You know, it amazes me seeing some of the nut jobs that have TDS so bad. They hate Donald Trump so bad. They hate you too. You know, they call us the red hats, the MAGAs, the all these different names. But here's a lady, this woman on the left, who's ready to actually go to war. WAR, y'all. That crazy. We are ready for a civil war against MAGA. MAGA won't know what hit them. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? Just insane. I mean, I'm not being ugly, but what's she going to do? Pop us in the head with her purse and run? I mean, for real. I mean, you know, this is actually, though, if you really thought about it, it's actually funny that these people keep doing this. Really, it's insane. It's insane, but it's country. And it's country. It's country, it's city, it's county, it's state, and it's nationwide and worldwide at this point. And these people must think that we're going into a bake-off with them, but we're not. Just leave us alone. You're not going to do anything. Donald Trump's still your president and still mine. I don't care what you think. That's the truth. Don't care what you think. Anyway, just I'm not going to read the comments because they're insane. Can't probably read them on this show. But these kind of people are real. These kind of folks have lost their mind. This is what causes people to go up to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and run through with a shotgun pump and start spraying people. This is what causes that. And then we have liberal, left, wild leaning judges who are more concerned about the gentleman that did that. He's not a gentleman. The guy that did that, who's in jail, not getting his yoga in, not being able to eat his vegan diet, and not able to do whatever it is that he does. This crazy judge is now, in fact, saying all that. Really, dude. What about Gen X? What about Gen X? Did we say any of that? Did the boomers do any of that? Well, actually, if you were a boomer and you went to jail, you're lucky if you got a bologna sandwich. And I mean, real lucky. You might get some Mrs. Stratton's pimento and cheese or something of that nature, but it's probably generic Mrs. Stratton's. So these type of judges, this is what's wrong with the country. The judges are deciding. The judges are deciding everything now. And the judges are 100% for the most part, with the exception of the Supreme Court, which is the one that matters, um, are left wing liberals. That's the truth. Left wing liberals. In fact, that is the truth. Trey Yingst this morning on May 6th, Wednesday. There's a new report out. Donald Trump overnight, last night on Tuesday, May 5th, reported and indicated the United States and Iran are close to some sort of deal. Not sure exactly what all's in it yet, but this guy's on top of it, so we'll listen in.
Axios is reporting that a memorandum of understanding could be reached in the next 48 hours that would include 14 points agreed to by both the United States and Iran, among them an enrichment moratorium and also opening eventually the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if this does move forward, it's an indication that progress is being made at the negotiating table. The question is whether or not the Iranians are serious about actually signing this understanding and if it would lead to a firm, broader agreement in the future. Within the reporting that we're reviewing this morning is a 30-day window to reach that broader understanding. Now, the White House has not commented on this report, but this could be one of the reasons why the president is pulling back, at least on Project Freedom right now, again, to allow the Iranians to come to the negotiating table and reach this deal in the days ahead.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. You know, I don't know that we're ever going to get a deal with Iran because history repeats itself. We know the history of the country. We're not stupid. We understand the history of the country. So that, my friends, is a fact. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, that is a fact. So we shall see. We shall absolutely see. I don't know. How do you guys feel about these cruises? I have a lot of friends that just really go on a bunch of cruises on ships. They're always going on cruises, and that's okay. I don't have anything against it. I'm asking you what you think. I'm not asking you what, or telling you rather what to think, or telling you what to do. What do you think about it? There's a very highly dangerous virus going on right now on another cruise. That concerns me. Okay, that concerns me because look, you're trapped. You can't get out of there. You cannot get out. That's freaky. Okay, that's freaky. I have, in fact, been on a cruise, the Monsters of Rock cruise, and I had a blast. So, again, this is not hating on cruises. This is asking your opinion on cruises. If you like them, if you like the shorter ones, if you like the longer ones, what do you enjoy about it and what do you not like about it? What do you not like about it? Do you think about getting these odd viruses, which, by the way, some of those have no cure, zero cure for these wicked viruses? Does that cross your mind? Also, does the food poisoning cross your mind, which is very high, very, very high on cruises? I don't know. I don't know. But that's what we were asking your opinion about it Unleashed. So go ahead and put it down in the comments and let me know. Or text me at 601-918-8409 on this Wednesday hump day, May 6, 2026. All right, moving on. Ihan Omar. You know that chick, if you couldn't call her that. Just got subpoenaed by the Minnesota House Fraud Committee after ignoring the deadline to hand over documents on her involvement in the massive, and I do mean massive, feeding our future fraud, scam, and scheme. You know she was doing that. Come on. This is the same, by the way, Omar, who spent years lecturing Americans about justice. I mean, for real. But, you know, I hope they get all these people.
Members, as you know, we have reached out to Representative Ilhan Omar on multiple occasions, inviting her to testify and inviting and requesting documents that appeared in the trial exhibit of the U.S. versus Amy Bach. Her office or her staff was named in multiple trial exhibits, and we have endeavored in multiple ways to get access to that because, as everyone knows, Representative Omar had some role, whether inadvertent or not. She passed the Meals Act in March of 2020, and that took the guardrails off the federal school nutrition program, which created the conditions for feeding our future.
Of course she did. Of course she did. Her bank account and her net worth is also changing by millions on paper. How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, your time's up, Ilhan Omar. Your time is up. Okay? I'm the smoking gun. Okay? I'm the smoking gun on this. So get there. Go there. But I will say this, the American people, and especially me from doing this so long, we're kind of getting tired of the BS. This is an illegitimate congresswoman that needs to be handled with swift, very swift action before the American people lose their minds and take over this case. We don't want that. We don't want that. Deal with it. Lock them up. Lock them up. Steven sent a text message and said she will not show up for either and nothing will happen. Well, I hope you're wrong this time. But you've been right a lot. You've been right a lot, as we all have. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Democrats, the left-wing Democrats, voted against this subpoena, I believe. Of course they did. That's another message. I'm sure they did. I would not doubt that whatsoever. I can't deny or confirm that, but that was a message, and I'm pretty sure you're right. Will she face zero consequences or will she face full consequences? That's a good darn question. Will she or not? Okay, will she? Crazy. Shad White commenting this morning. We're going to talk about that after this first break. But Shad White is commenting on the latest on what's going on with the Mississippi redistricting. Benny Thompson called any attempt to change his district was gerrymandered around race, equivalent to a second civil war. Man, give me a break with this Benny Thompson. He's only been in there 33 years plus. Okay. It's time to go anyway, Republican or Democrat. But this guy's never given a damn about his constituents and still doesn't. Everything is race baiting, period. All right, y'all, we're going to be right back. It is Coming up on the top of the hour, my name is Daryl Arnold. We are unleashed, uninhibited, and we are definitely unapologetic on a Wednesday morning, May 6, 2026. Stick around. Real talk in the mornings.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Need reliable electrical work in central Mississippi? Call the pros at Electrical Solutions and Services right here in Pearl. From residential repairs to full commercial electrical services, they've got you covered. Panel upgrades, lighting installation, troubleshooting, even certified Tesla installation, and Generac generator sales and service. Plus, they're veteran-owned, bringing integrity and experience to every job. Located on St. Paul Street in Pearl, Mississippi. Call today. Electrical Solutions and Services, powering Central Mississippi with reliable electrical solutions.
Call 769-572-7597 today.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Fire! You are listening to WPBP 104.3 FM, The Pirate, Pearl, Mississippi.
Wake up in the morning.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media Radio Show and live stream with your host, Daryl Arnold.
We on fire!
Yeah, we on fire. It is 7:01 a.m. Top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. 104.3 FM on the radio, the live stream. Of course, at Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anywhere you get your podcast and your radio shows. I appreciate all of it for sure. We also were talking about Mississippi's redistricting. Benny Thompson called any attempts. This is a direct from Shad White a half an hour ago, who posted this on X. Benny Thompson called any attempt to change his district, which was gerrymandered, by the way, around race, the equivalent to a second civil war. There's been no formal announcement yet about whether the legislature will redraw those lines when they return in just a matter of days. Now, this is where the Shad White thing stops. This is Daryl. They need to get off their butts and do this. This was requested by Trump. I agree with Trump on this. most people with common sense agree that Benny Thompson has the whole one side of Mississippi from line to line. It's not fair. It hasn't been fair. And he's been in there for 33 plus years. Let's get back to Shad White now. He also said no Mississippi statewide officials, with the exception of Governor Reeves, who said they would do something in 21 days or so, but no official members of Congress has explicitly called for redrawing this yet, except for Shad White. Except for Shad White. This is crazy. So last night's huge win, which we'll be talking about throughout the morning, in the state of Indiana for pro-Trump, pro-redistricting candidates. By the way, the rhinos that voted against the redistricting in Indiana, they all got primaried out last night. See ya. See ya. This, like Shad White said, and like I'm saying now, should be a wake-up call. If you are a anti-redistricting candidate running for office, this should be a wake-up call. You're going to get primaried out. And yes, I said it. You're going to get primaried out. This is the truth. It is the truth. And as far as the war right now, Donald Trump is getting very close, y'all, to a memo understanding to end, and that's capital letters end, the war in Iran. Maximum pressure is working. So we're going to see what happens with these gas prices, these oil prices, and these grocery prices from suppliers who are basically price gouging. These are the Trump haters price gouging you, blaming it on the president. That's my take on it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay? It is true. I couldn't be happier for Ohio. Now you guys have got to show up for the general election big time. But Vivek Ramaswamy won 100% of the Ohio counties. I mean, there's a lot of counties in that state. Ramaswamy last night won 100% of the counties in the primary. His opponent didn't actually stand a chance. So it's time to keep Ohio red, my friends.
Down from not just 7 brackets to 2, as the leadership has done, but down to 0 brackets because we're going to get rid of the income tax in the state. 0 income tax in the state of Ohio. It is your money, not the government's. You deserve to keep what you earn. We got to celebrate hard work and success. And if 8 other states have managed to do it, then so too will we here in Ohio. People ask me, how are you going to do it? Well, look, if we're the state that sent somebody to be the first man in the world to walk on the moon, this will not be the greatest challenge that Ohio has ever conceived. End the existent spending and overspending of waste, fraud, abuse in different parts of the state. Take a rational approach to get there. First, eliminating capital gains to allow for business formation. Articulate this to the rest of the country. Let the rest of the country know we're right here.
Okay, Ohio. Okay, Ohio, y'all better get out and vote for this man if you want real change and to keep Ohio red. Because all these states in the Midwest / Northeast, they're going blue, which is socialism and communism. Is that what you want? Not to mention what they're doing to the education system and the children and the young folks. Not to mention that. because that's a whole nother ball game that is always involved with the left-leaning Democrat Party. The left-leaning Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen. It's always them, too, by the way. It's always them. It is always them. You know, for all you that have massive TDS, and I know it's a lot of you out there, we have been witnessing history being made since Trump was brought back into office in his second term. We have removed the World Health Organization, thank God. We have humiliated the World Economic Forum and crushed their agenda, y'all. You may not remember all this stuff, but I do. He also drops the strategic truth bombs on the European Union, also known as the EU. He exposes NATO all the time. He exposes NATO all the time and pulls the plug every single time. Trump has also obliterated many, many plans for world tyranny. So, what would be happening right now if Kamala was in office? Nonsense. And we'd probably be getting blown up about now. Nonsense. But Indiana last night, congratulations, because y'all proved that MAGA is alive and well, my friends. No matter what the wannabe podcasters try to tell you. No matter what. The real numbers always show up at the polls. The real facts always show up. But you got to get out there and vote to show up. You got to get out there and vote to show the heck up. There is a cluster bomb of idiots and craziness going on in California right now. Politics. So many people running against each other for the governor race. Just insane. Insane. Well, we'll talk about some of that before we get out of here. We will. But there's a lot of disturbing things going on, too, that are uncovered now because of independent journalists doing their own research. But Democrats, especially the Democrats right now in South Carolina, their South Carolina state rep and United States candidate, the Democrat, Crystal Matthews, on a phone call with an inmate in prison, by the way, an inmate in prison at the Correctional Institute is super disturbing. It's very disturbing, y'all.
Sleepers. Like, we need them to run as the other side, even though they for our side. And we need them to win. Right. We need people to run as Republicans in these local elections. And this is the only way you're going to change the dynamics in South Carolina. We can battle them in public all day. As long as we know we're working for the same goal, for me, I feel like, y'all, we need sleepers. When we get enough of us in there, we can wreak havoc for real from the inside out.
Yep. Wreak havoc. Wreak havoc from the inside out. These are, this is what it's come to, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's come to. Gonna be cooking with gas, she said. Cooking with gas. It is the Marxist takeover. That's the truth. They will lie and say they're this, they're red, they're in the middle, they're independent, they're not left-leaning, they're not insane, just to get in. Just to get in. Lies, lies, and more freaking lies. Period. But that's what happens. That's what happens. Y'all remember Joe Biden? Of course you do. He doesn't remember you, but we remember him. Anti-Christian bias has been uncovered throughout this last year and a half or so. It's pretty sad. One must wonder if the absurd recent Democrat pretense to being, quote, Team Pope was an attempt to distract the public from the recently issued Department of Justice report on the Biden's administration, the weaponization of the Freedom of Access to Clinics Entrance Act. Okay, so let's break that down for just a second. What in the hell does that mean? Which showed how the DOJ under Joe Biden aggressively and often, very often, by the way, because we all remember, especially if you do what I do, you remember, aggressively and often, very often, unjustly prosecuted pro-life activists, even, keyword, even, while virtually ignoring many violent attacks on pro-life clinics and people. That's true. Look it up. Those violent, and they were violent. They were unfortunately violent. Pro-abortion activists who were prosecuted were given much lighter sentences than the pro-life activists. This is all provable now. Provable. So, a couple of weeks ago, not even a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, the release of the second DOJ report eradicating anti-Christian bias with the federal government. There is no more room to hide the ugly, and I do mean ugly reality, that if the Democrats and the Biden administration were on anybody's team, it wasn't the Christians at all, or the believers at all. This is a 565-page report, ladies and gentlemen, written to fulfill the demands of the February 6, 2025 Trump executive order number 14202 on eradicating anti-Christian bias. You might say, Daryl, I don't know how important this is. This is very important for the future of the country and your freaking family and everybody's family. Okay? We will never forget what Hussein Obama, Barry, and the Biden administration, which was Barry 2.0, did behind the scenes, and Hillary, evil Hillary Clinton, Bill. It's true. And James Comey and people like him. Comey's sitting there lying, testifying under oath that there was no surveillance at all on the Trump campaign. I mean, come on. He lied. It's time to hold him and liars and leakers accountable. Will it happen? I don't know. But should it happen? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, it should happen. We're going to talk about something now that's always been under my skin. And we'll break it up a little bit because the science that they quote, the science that they've been quoting now since the ridiculous COVID-19 shutdown of the whole entire world, the science is not above the law. Now, Fauci is not above the law. We're down to the countdown. We're running out of time. Seriously, we have like a week, less than a week, May 11th, to prosecute Fauci. It's not going to happen, is it? Probably not, y'all. This will be the biggest injustice ever. What he did during the HIV and AIDS pandemic, epidemic, what he did during the, quote, COVID-19, and now they're saying that the PCR tests for everybody that took a PCR test in the first 3 months of, C-19 were 82% inaccurate. 82%. We're not talking about 8%. But we're running out of time to prosecute Fauci. And what I just said is true. Period.
We are running out of time. If anybody's going to charge Fauci, statute of limitations runs out on this when?
Just a few days.
Few
It was
days.
7 days, like 2 days ago.
Is anybody going to pay a price?
What do you think he's guilty of? Exactly. I mean, I know we had an amazing special that outlined.
Yeah, is anybody?
I think he's guilty of a lot of things. He's guilty of, and I don't know law well enough to know, but these are the things he did knowingly that were wrong. He violated our own law.
That's exactly what he did. We'll pick that up when we come back, but that's exactly what he did. He violated our own law. Science doesn't get to do that, or quote, bogus science. Either way, it doesn't get to do that, okay? You're not allowed to do that, Fauci. Okay? You're just not. We're coming right back at you. It's Unleashed, Uninhibited, and Unapologetic on a Wednesday, May 6th.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Need reliable electrical work in central Mississippi? Call the pros at Electrical Solutions and Services right here in Pearl. From residential repairs to full commercial electrical services, they've got you covered. Panel upgrades, lighting installation, troubleshooting, even certified Tesla installation, and Generac generator sales and service. Plus, they're veteran-owned, bringing integrity and experience to every job. Located on St. Paul Street in Pearl, Mississippi. Call today. Electrical Solutions and Services, powering central Mississippi with reliable electrical solutions.
Call 769-572-7597 today.
Need reliable
big hand for all y'all for waking up early on hump day, getting through the week. You're probably either getting dressed or on your way to work, because if you don't get dressed and get on your way soon, you're going to be late. Wake up in the mornings. Thank everybody for tuning in right here at 104.3 FM in the car or wherever. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Restream, or back it up and listen later, or check out podcast Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Clayton Pell. I'm always up early, he said. Of course he is. Clayton Pell's always up earlier. We were just talking about Electrical Solutions. Clayton Pell is the service manager there. We all know Clayton. We love Clayton. Central Mississippi, y'all. They don't just do stuff right here in Pearl. You give them a call, because Electrical Solutions will handle your electrical needs, your solutions to the electrical needs, and of course, stuff like Generac generators, Tesla stuff, all of that stuff is done and it's local. And you know what we do here? We support local, and they support us, and we support them right back. So it's not just a Rankin County thing, though, I promise you. Electrical Solutions and electrical services is definitely 100% not just Pearl. There's Central Mississippi that can provide and install work for you for industrial, commercial, and residential projects. 769-572-7597. Once again, 769-572-7597. Tell them Daryl sent you for a promo. Tell them Daryl sent you for a promo. Darrell. They'll say, come on, bring it. But thanks, as we brought them on as a sponsor to Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. And then, of course, we have another podcast, D and Kim, Daryl and Kim. That's on Monday nights at 5 p.m. Central, 5 in the evening. And that is on all of the streaming deals that are out there. So Nancy Guthrie, we don't ever talk about Nancy Guthrie on this show. But there's a podcast with Sean Hannity called The Hangout or something. Yeah, The Hangout. And Kash Patel, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. I just happened to stumble upon this. Kash Patel is putting a local sheriff, as he should, and the sheriff's office on blast. And he's not sugarcoating it. And he shouldn't sugarcoat it, because this is just a whole bizarre situation. Let's listen in on this clip. Clip 118.
One thing I want to ask you is about, in the Nancy Guthrie case, I got frustrated because I knew from my sources they were trying to keep you guys out.
They did.
They did keep you out.
And look, here's how
time matters in an investigation.
The first 48 hours of anyone's disappearance are the most critical. And here's how these cases works. It is a state matter. It's a state and local law enforcement matter. What we, the FBI, do is say, hey, we're here to help. What do you need? What can we do? And for 4 days, we were kept out of the investigation. And when we were finally let in, Sean, look what we did. We went in and got the Ring doorbell. And we said, hey, is anyone talking to Google? I called the leadership at Google and I said, look, we know that there was not a subscription service to capture all of the data that would have been captured had there been a subscription service. But can we go into the cache? Can we go into the data before it's deleted and see what we can find? That's why you have that image, because the FBI worked with Google to put that image out. Another thing we asked to do.
You guys got that tape, which was the biggest breakthrough during that case.
We could have gotten it days before. We could have also maybe gotten more data had we been
why wouldn't they want your help? Why did they send the DNA to a lab in Florida, not Quantico?
That's the other thing that you hit on, right? Again, we were saying we'll process it. I launched hundreds of agents and intel staff to Phoenix and Tucson just for this case, just to be on standby.
And they didn't want
just
you
to
there.
do the canvassing. And we said, we'll take the DNA. And again, it's a state and local matter. So it's their call on where to send the DNA. We have Quantico, best lab in the world. I had a fixed wing aircraft on the ground ready to move it immediately through the night.
Did they just say no?
And they said, we're sending it to Florida. And then, I don't know,
They have
60
jurisdiction.
days. They have jurisdiction, so it's their call. So
bad call.
Well, that's for the American public to decide. And
yeah, well, I think the American public has already decided that that was a bad call. The credit for that is the Hangout with Sean Hannity on a podcast, which he had the guest, Kash Patel. But it's just crazy. So, something is going on. Something has been going on. Savannah Guthrie's first call, allegedly, her first call, was to her, quote, friend, Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, another TDS hateful leftist Democrat. And he and the sheriff did not want the Trump administration involved. This is ridiculous. These are the type things that's wrong with this country. They thought they could solve it on their own. Of course they did, because they're elitist. And this is unfortunately why Nancy will probably not be found now, because they didn't allow the proper law enforcement to get involved with them, who have way more tools than local. Way more tools. Politics should not have been played in this at all. Okay? That's the bottom line. Politics should not be played in any of this. So I see people dogging out Kash. I see people dogging out Hannity, whatever. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Suck it up and deal with it. Okay? Suck it up and deal with it. And by the way, Trump keeps on stunning the experts on doing the impossible. Openly, unifying essentially the entire Middle East against Iran. Yeah, he's doing that every day. You might not notice it, but if you're keeping up, you will notice it. You will notice it if you're keeping up. It's the truth. It is the truth. So Trump silences all of his critics daily, and then they come up with a new story to run with the fake media. It's always been that way. It's just bad now. Always been there, but bad now. So I want to get y'all's opinion on this next story. Okay, and I'm not, before you ask, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. This is an opinion show, but I'm not putting my opinion out there. I'm trying to get your opinion. A Mississippi sheriff was fired after getting into a brawl, like a fist fight, with an umpire at a Little League game. That's crazy to me. But anyway, at a Little League game, Lieutenant Holly was coaching a U14 baseball team at the Grand Slam Mississippi tournament. when a fight between him and an umpire started. According to reports, they were both arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for fighting not in self-defense. Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Office did get a chance to respond, and this is their response. They fired Holly. They fired him. So the Grand Slam Mississippi tournament director, Mike Normore, stated that the Grand Slam Mississippi unequivocally condemns the events that took place during the Starkville, Mississippi tournament. Youth sports are to be built on respect, integrity, and safety. And any actions that undermine those values are not acceptable. So what do you think about that? With an umpire. I mean, I can hear the people in the background. I can hear what they're saying and what they think about it. It's not good. I have to turn that down due to language, which also is not good. The language from the people sitting in the stands at a Little League game. So, crazy. And this is travel ball, according to one of the messages. This is travel ball. It's not Little League. Huge difference. Well, okay, my bad. Travel ball with young kids. I get that the sheriff is a great. I bet that sheriff is a great. This is sarcasm. Sorry. I bet that sheriff is a great role model for his children. Yeah, that's Dan. Can only imagine what he has been doing to citizens. Yeah, you know what? You cannot judge somebody on one event. I don't care if they're law enforcement or not. Now, you can judge them, of course, and you should. But unless it's like murder or something like that, you know, people lose their temper. Now, I'm not taking up for any of this. I'm just letting you know. Period. Ed said this. I used to umpire games back when I was younger for a couple of years. One time, a dad started screaming at me that his kid got hit by a pitch and it barely grazed the kid's shirt. You know, probably even if it even touched him. I asked the boy, and he straight up told me no. So I let him stay at bat. The dad absolutely lost his mind on me. Of course, he used different language. Lost his mind on me. Well, listen, when you sign up to be an umpire, to be a referee, or to be anything like that, you're going to get people screaming at you, okay? Always. Coaches all the way down. Parents especially. But someone said this, a Jason, no last name. The adults are supposed to be role models. Kids' sports somehow seem to be more triggering for adults than they are for the kids themselves. I will have to say that I agree with that to a certain level. Okay, I did. I agree. Anyway, it's kind of sad to see these kind of things. It really is. And I'm not picking on anybody, law enforcement, non-law enforcement, referees, umpires. It's actually sad to see this kind of stuff happen because the last person that texts me, the adults are supposed to be the adults. So they're supposed to be the role models. That's my take on it. They're supposed to be that, no matter what they do for a living. Okay. It doesn't matter if they work for a lawn company or they're in law enforcement. Just doesn't matter. Because they should be the role models. All right. We're going to get into the story of the indictment of the guy that ran up in the White House. And I'm not laughing because it's definitely not funny. The guy that ran up in the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Yesterday, their indictment underscored a simple truth that there's evidence that the defendant, Cole Allen, intended to assassinate the president and that he shot a United States Secret Service officer after, keyword after, he traversed the country, which he came all the way across the country, by the way, with a cache of ammunition to accomplish his goals. Okay, that's in fact the truth. It's a 4-count indictment from the U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, with the attempt to assassinate the President of the United States. And we have judges who are wanting him to have remote controls, games, vegan menu, like he's over at the damn Jackson Country Club or somewhere, reunion. No, he didn't get to have any of that, or he shouldn't. These judges are ridiculous. These judges are insane, not just ridiculous. Not just ridiculous. Let's rephrase that to insane, because that's what they are. Actual. All right, y'all, it is 7:40 a.m. Central Daylight Time, Wednesday, May 6th. 104.3 FM is the radio channel. Also, we're restreaming, live streaming, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, all your favorites. My name is Daryl Arnold. We are Unleashed Media Talk and everything else. And we are unapologetic on a hump day morning, Wednesday.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Power 104.3, The Pirate. The Pirate is the heartbeat of Pearl. The Pirate.
Wake up in the morning.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media Radio Show and live stream with your host, Daryl Arnold.
We on fire.
Yeah, we on fire. And we're on fire on a Wednesday, May 6, 2026. Thank y'all for joining us early in the morning, 7:43 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Hey, if you're not on your way to work, you're probably late. I hope you did not forget to put your shoes on. And I hope your shoes matched. Unless your name is Clayton Pell, you get a free pass. Your shoes have to match unless your name is Clayton Pell, then you get a free pass. The only way is by that. No other way. Get up. Let's do this thing midweek. Hump day. Moving into the weekend. Supposed to be a weather evening today in Mississippi and central Mississippi. Make sure you have your rain gear with you. And I didn't say reindeer. I said rain gear with a G. So make sure you have that with you today. Keep an eye out for any hail, any of that kind of stuff that we be seeing in MISSISSIPPI, because we definitely see it. Oh, but if you live here, you've been living here, even if you moved away like me for a long time and you've been back for, a decade or whatever it is, you understand. You definitely understand. You do. So I'd asked a couple of controversial questions earlier. We'd also talked about today being the first Wednesday of the month, which means it's Grip and Grin over at Mama Hamill's on Highway 51, Madison Ridgeland. Grip and Grin every first Wednesday of the month. That's today, Wednesday, May 6th. Make your way over about 11 a.m. or so. Grab yourself a seat. Some great fellowship, leadership, and hear from different speakers. I believe we're going to be hearing from judge candidates today that are up for the upcoming election. Bruce Barlow, Arlette, and the rest of the crew always does a fantastic job with Grip and Grin. You know who they are. You know where it is. And I want to see you there about 11 a.m. today, Wednesday, May 6th. So we asked a couple of controversial questions earlier. And I never say that I agree with this. You see that, right? I'm asking you. I don't say if I don't agree with it. I don't say if I do agree with it on some of these. Now, I agree with all the common sense stuff, obviously. And I don't agree with anything that a leftist has to come out of their mouth. Are these trendy medical treatments, these new ones, you know what I'm talking about? The peptides. Are they a miracle? I want you to tell me what your thoughts are. And you can tell me this later on a text, 601-918-8409, or you can chat underneath this video or audio wherever you're hearing or seeing it. Dr. Mike warns against the frightening rise of unstudied injections. Now, these are his words, not mine. He said they're scary because anytime you're injecting something into your body, a medicine that hasn't been well studied into humans, you're doing it based off of petri dish or animal data, which is kind of frightening. And obviously, they're not FDA approved. Now, again, I know a lot of people that believe in the GLPs and the peptides and all that, and I'm not saying that I don't actually. Okay? That's not what I'm saying here. What is your opinion, though, on all of these that are all of a sudden hitting the market, bam, 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 every single day? Every single day. And where are the studies? I'm not saying there's not any, but where are they? Okay, where are they? Something to think about on a midweek Wednesday. Something to think about. You know, yesterday, before Donald Trump said there's going to be a halt in the strait and all that, he said that overnight. But before that, Marco Rubio, Secretary Marco Rubio, confirms that Operation Epic Fury is over. Now, is it? Is it over? I mean, that's what he says. That means the Democrats' war powers resolution BS is 100% dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. They can't try and use those talking points anymore, the TDS. They can't.
And we're very consistent in this messaging. The operation that has concluded was going to destroy their Navy. They have no Navy left. They don't. Not a Navy. They have small boats and Boston whalers, but they don't have a Navy left. They don't have an Air Force. I challenge you. When is the last time you read or heard about an Iranian jet flying anywhere? They don't have an Air Force. Their missile launching capability has been substantially degraded, and their industrial base, their defense industrial base, has been severely, severely damaged. So their ability to build a shield behind which they could hide their nuclear program was wiped out. That's a very substantial achievement, and that was the purpose of this operation from day one.
Their nuclear material in order for this war to end.
Well, that's one of the topics that needs to be discussed. I don't know about. I think you're linking it. The operation is over. Epic Fury, as the president notified Congress, we're done with that stage of it. Okay, we're now on to this project of freedom. As far as a negotiation is concerned, I think the president's been clear that part of the negotiation process has to be not just the enrichment, but what happens.
Yeah, as he said, we're done with the Operation Fury, which is in fact true. But the Project Freedom is only lasted a couple of hours because overnight Donald Trump had said that we are in negotiations now. In negotiations right now. The White House, we brought this up earlier, wants state lawmakers to axe Benny Thompson from Congress. But the path to accomplish that task between now and November is unclear still. So Mississippi, I know y'all are feeling the pressure to redistrict before the midterms. Y'all need to do that. Do it now. I know that it's not that easy, but things in life are not easy. Okay? Gerrymandering is a hot topic. Okay? It is a hot topic. So get on it. Get going. Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Jeremy Boring confirms that Candace Owens, the psychotic podcaster out there, her husband, George Farmer, was arrested back in 2023. And these are his words, not mine. Nashville, Tennessee, right down the road from us, for allegedly wrecking his truck, driving with blood alcohol content 3 times the legal limit, carrying a loaded firearm, and also fleeing from the scene of an accident. The arrest was pretty well known in conservative circles. But in recent weeks, public records and documents have surfaced alleging that Candace's husband, they're just now coming out, or the people are just now aware of it. But this guy was aware of it few years ago. Because remember, just in case you don't know, he's the one that fired Candace Owens for being a, quote, liar and fantasizing.
Candace, of course, lies all the time, and she's making a fortune doing it. But as Proverb tells us, a fortune made by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare. And for Candace, the snare seems to be tightening. The lawsuits from people connected with Charlie Kirk, people about whom Candace has been spreading falsehoods and slanders for months, are likely only just beginning. Already, Candace is trying to walk back some of her most salacious insinuations, but that doesn't mean she's suddenly discovered journalistic integrity or even basic honesty. In recent weeks, public records and documents have surfaced alleging that Candace's husband, George Farmer, was arrested in Nashville in August 2023 for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident. When Candace insists that this has nothing to do with her husband, that it's some completely different George Farmer in Nashville, Tennessee, well, that denial strikes me as pretty audacious. I was first made aware of the arrest and charges, leaving the scene of an accident after wrecking his truck at 3 times the legal limit while carrying a loaded firearm, shortly after it happened, back when Candace still worked for me at the Daily Wire. People who had access to the court documents approached me with them quite early, before the situation was resolved. By the time Candace started to engage in more and more evil behavior, the arrest was pretty well known in conservative circles. I was personally approached more than once by people asking me if I would speak out about the charges. In every instance, I refused. Not because I thought Candace's conduct was defensible, far from it, but because I believed then, and still believe, that family should generally be off limits. But of course, Candace doesn't believe family is off limits, just ask Charlie Kirk's widow. And so people now have decided to play by Candace's rules. But here, too, the lack of journalism online is very much a part of the story. While the charges are now public knowledge, making Candace's denials look increasingly strained, there's almost no reporting on what actually happened to the case. There's still no reporting on what happened to the charges themselves. Did Candace and George pay to make them go away? Did the police make an error or violate George's rights in some way? Were the charges brought against him found to be untrue? I mean, the police arresting you doesn't mean you're guilty after all. Responsible journalists would be pursuing these questions.
Yeah, we need to start pursuing a lot of these questions because she seems to think she can pursue all of these questions with nonsense about everybody else. But God forbid anybody says something to her, okay? God forbid anything says something, quote, let me rephrase that, against her. Against her. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fact. And like it or not, this is a fact. But that's it, you know. Who knows? Some people are saying, you know, this guy coming out is like high school drama or whatever. You know what? She started it. People eventually get tired of your BS, eventually get really tired of it. Here's Byram Donalds, who's running in Florida right now, discussing Benny Thompson, and deserves, he said, deserves, this is a black gentleman in Florida, of course, you know Byram Donalds, says Benny Thompson deserves to lose his district. Those are big words. Do you agree? I know I do.
To other states like Mississippi, where somebody who shares my namesake, but not the same spelling of my name, Benny Thompson, and it's been it's been a hard road, I got to tell you, Byron, because the president has not once but twice called Benny Thompson Benny Johnson during White House press conferences, and then railed against him, right? Because this is the guy who brought you January 6th committee fraud, you know, and he just He mixed up the name, and it sucks. Those days suck for me, right? Because then Trump's like going scorched earth, got the wrong guy. He's got that guy's like probably 600 pounds. You'd have to like lose quite a few IQ points. This is not the same Benny Johnson. This is not even the same name. But anyway, it's been tough. And I would love for that guy to lose his seat. It sounds like he's going to. It sounds like actually southern states are going to follow the DeSantis model, and a lot of them are going to redistrict. As somebody who is going to be a governor of a southern state here, like what's your message to them about redistricting in the deep south?
I would say go right ahead and make sure that your districts represent the political culture of your state. I think that's important. And let's not live under any ignorance here. Look at Massachusetts. There is not one Republican that represents any portion of the state of Massachusetts. Why? Because the Democrats are very aggressive about gerrymandering. Look at Illinois. In southern Illinois, the Democrats gerrymandered some snake district into southern Illinois after the last census to force two Republicans to run against each other. I mean, this is what these states have done. So I would tell Republicans in some of these southern states, these southern governors, do what's right on behalf of your people.
So should Benny Thompson lose his district?
Yeah, he should. It's time.
It's time. Yeah, it's been time. He's only been there for over 3 decades, so of course it's time. And he doesn't care about his constituents. He never has and never, quite frankly, will. He makes everything about race, and now he's talking about a civil war. He's talking about just insanity is what he's talking about. He's talking about 100% insanity. That's what he's talking about. Our sponsors, Electrical Solutions and Electrical Services in Pearl, Mississippi. Check them out. Mobility Medical on Lakeland Drive near Airport Road, mobilitymedicalinc.com, at Cypress Point MS on Facebook, cypresspointms.com for the website. The safari over at Cypress Point, the lodge, the cabins, the live music at Cameron's Garage, the events at Cameron's Garage, the live music at the tavern, the buffet, so much more. The taco bar was a huge hit last night. Of course, it was Cinco de Mayo, but don't remember, the taco bar every Tuesday, early for lunch and 5 to 8 for dinner. It's a full-blown taco bar, the real deal. Top of the hour, WPBP 104.3. My name is Daryl Arnold. We are unleashed, uninhibited, and unapologetic. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in.